Hello, hello, everyone.
Hi.
Pardon me for a moment while I try to get to the actual stream page, because for some reason that's harder than it should be. All right, there we are. Okay, we are live and we are running. Hello, viewer people. I just hid the chat. Why would I do that? That's the whole reason I'm fucking here. And I opened another video. I've got the stupids. Okay. So, let me close out a couple of these windows here so I have less crap running so that my computer runs better so that we can all actually know what's happening. It's a novel approach. Let me clean my RAM real quick. Whoop. Okay. All right. So I think we're doing good now. What do we usually do first?
We talk.
Oh yeah, we do that sometimes, huh? So we didn't get much chance to actually discuss what we're doing tonight because CJ had an appointment late tonight. So we are not as prepared as we usually are, which is minimal to begin with.
Actually unprepared.
Yeah, we're extra unprepared, like double extra. But we're like on double secret probation or some shit. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Halloween because I love Halloween. Also, do you see what's going on back here?
I do. Is she trying to get
sure.
the green?
I'm not sure what she's trying to do, but she thinks she's real slick. And if you couldn't put your tail down, you might not think that. She just ran away. She's done now. She doesn't usually get on the shelves, so I don't know what's going on with her right now. She's being a loon.
I saw her running back and forth earlier.
Yeah, it might be crazy o'clock because she ate a can of food about 2 hours ago.
That's about right.
And that makes her spazzy. So we have one person in the chat. How's it going? We are watching my cat be nuts, so I apologize for the silliness at the moment. So, okay, CJ, you didn't dress up for Halloween as a kid, right?
We did when I was really little, until I was about 6. I think it was about 6 when we stopped. And the reason is we moved to Carlisle, and this was right around the time when the big Satanism scare was a thing. And so from the age of like 6 until I was like in high school, when we moved out of Carlisle, it was really all Carlisle. Living in a small town, it makes people crazy. That's pretty much. So yeah, we didn't celebrate Halloween until we celebrated it before I was 6, and then we didn't celebrate it again until I was in high school.
So do you remember like what costumes you had when you were a kid? Did you have any good costumes, or were they like the store-bought ones?
There's only 2 that, and I don't remember them because I am clearly so young. We have pictures of them, and I am clearly so young, there's no way. Like one of them, I was the Lone Ranger. I think I was about 3. We have a picture of my sister Cherry and I both in Lone Ranger masks. And then it must have been either the next year or the year after that, we were Mary and Joseph from the Nativity. Because
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, the best part is, I should find these pictures and show them to you. The best part is that I was Mary because, of course, I'm the older one, so I get to choose. And Cherry was Joseph. And at this point, Cherry was probably 6 or 8 inches shorter than I was, just because she's so much smaller than I was growing up. And so it's like Mary and Joseph. It is the funniest picture. And we have like bath towels on our heads and like tied with yarn. And we're wearing our parents' bathrobes kind of thing. Like it was that kind of a costume. So, how about you? Did you dress up for Halloween?
Yeah, pretty much every year. But I also, like, I just dressed up. Like, I was just a person who just dressed up all the time. So I would just wear costumes. I had goth dresses that I would just wear because it was Tuesday. And the cat just went crazy again. And she like ran off from next to me, so it scared me. But I have pictures from when I was little, like too little to remember like you do, of those costumes with the plastic masks that they outlawed because kids were blind in them and would get hit by cars. But I couldn't even tell you what the characters were because they were so freaking bad.
It shouldn't be funny, but it is.
I mean, that's what happened. Like that's they got sued because kids were blind and got hit by cars. And so I remember being a princess several years because I really wanted to be a princess. I think it was mostly because I wished we were rich because that would be easier. But I don't remember, like in college, I was the Princess Bride one year.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Last year I was Carrie. That was last year, right? Or the year before? Might have been the year before. I don't know. Last year or the year before it was Carrie. And that was the most uncomfortable costume I've ever worn because after about 6 hours, the Caro syrup starts to just like tear apart, and it tears the hair out of your arms and your head and your face and anywhere else it might have landed. So that was pretty grody. And I also got it in my mouth, and we tried to make it wash safe, so it had dish soap in it. Ew. That was pretty unpleasant. I mean, we literally just made a batch of blood like Travis makes for a movie. And I stood in the bathtub and he poured it on me. So, but I just had the dress. The dress, I think it's the dress I wore to the Raymond Did It premiere, I think.
Oh, I like that dress.
Yeah, well, it's got red armpits now because the red washed out everywhere except for where deodorant has been. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's got pink armpits. So it's like a white top with pink armpits and a black bottom. But I do, I'll put it on and sleep in it though, even though it's got like some dangly things on it or whatever. I don't care. It is so comfortable and it's all satin, so I just like put it on and go to bed. It's the most comfortable thing ever. And it's like you're dressed, but you're not.
I love those kind of clothes.
Yeah, it's great. So, but this year I was going to go as Diane and Travis was going to go as Dale Cooper. But the problem is that, well, there's 2 problems. One is we are poor. And 2 is we could work around that, though. I could get someone to cut my hair like Diane's because it's not that complicated. And 2 is that Travis has to leave Halloween, like the morning after Halloween night, early because he's going to Connecticut to see Amethyst graduate. So he and Sailor are going to go to Connecticut and they're going to drive there and see Amethyst graduate and then drive back with Amethyst. So.
How far of a drive is that?
Probably like 24 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't know if Amy has a license or not. And even if she did, we couldn't afford to put her on the car. So Travis is going to have to drive the whole thing.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. And like we can't afford to put a second person on a car ever. It's just that your spouse is automatically included.
Right.
So that's the only reason we both can drive a rental car ever. So, but yeah, so I don't think the dressing up is going to go this time, but I think I'm going to try to do that next year. So there's lipstick all over my cigarette thing.
Oh, that's excellent.
I didn't have anything to blot it with, so I kind of blotted it with my cigarette. But I just remembered I had napkins because I keep everything because I'm like a pack rat. So anyway, so do you have anything you like to do on Halloween? What do you do for Halloween? Like now, as an adult, as a real person.
As a real person. So,
at least one who makes their own decisions. I mean,
right.
When you're 8, it doesn't matter if you want to be a stripper on Halloween, you can't. So.
Right. Although I will say that not celebrating Halloween has provided me with some excellent stories about my sister. Because I, of course, was never a very black and white person. A little bit, but it never quite sat well with me. Also, I also like to dress up, and so that irritated me that we weren't allowed to. But my younger sister was like seriously anti-Halloween, to the point where she had a friend come over, and I don't remember if the girl was spending the night or what, but we were in the car, and we had one of those old station wagons where you had the seats in the back that faced the back.
Yeah.
And she and this girl, her name was Karen Lee, were sitting in the back of the car, and it must have been around Halloween, because my sister was lecturing her, like literally lecturing her on why Halloween is evil and she shouldn't celebrate it. And all Karen Lee had done was tell her what she was going to be for Halloween. Like, she had gotten her costume and was probably going to be like a My Little Pony or like Starbright.
Some little girl thing.
Right. Because, I mean, yeah, she would have been like 7 or 8.
Right.
But my mom still talks about how embarrassed she was that my sister, like, was, how did she describe it? She was like revival tent preaching, fire and brimstone about how evil Halloween was. And it wasn't that my parents thought Halloween was bad. It was just the church that we were at. My dad was a pastor, and people get itchy about things. And so my parents made choices. And one of the choices they made was not to celebrate Halloween, because basically it would have made, people would have made a stink, and it wasn't worth it to fight that battle. So anyway, but Cherry took it to heart, and she was all like, no, Halloween is bad, and you are evil and going to hell for celebrating it. And my mom's like, no, Cherry, no, please stop telling people that. That's not why. And so, yeah, my mom's still a little embarrassed. Hang on. The cat needs to get down, and she doesn't know quite how to do it if I don't.
Because she's a chunk monster.
Yeah. Although she's lost a shit ton of weight. Like, when she walks, you can tell. When she sits, she still has a massive ass, so you'd never be able to tell. But when she walks, you can tell that, like, the whole back half of her is like half the size it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so what do I do for Halloween now that I'm a grown-up? So I think a couple of years when I lived in Rockford, I went to the Heaven and Hell party a couple of times.
Where I avoided that asshole Travis.
Well, yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. I remember that very well.
I think I went with you one year.
I think you did.
And I don't know, just kind of random. I never had like any traditions or anything on Halloween. I've always liked Halloween. The last 7 years, I've gone trick-or-treating with Amanda's kids.
Gotcha.
And that was always, it was never the same thing. Like, one year we all went together. One year, Colin had Cub Scouts that night, and so I took Fiona to a trunk or treat at a local church, and then they met us afterwards. One year, I stayed home. Why did I stay home? I don't even remember. It was like I couldn't, either I wasn't going to be home early enough or I didn't feel good or something. But like I stayed home and I handed out candy one year. Last year, Fiona got Halloween taken away. Not really. She got trick-or-treating taken away. She didn't get to go trick-or-treating. She had to stay home and hand out candy with Amanda because of something she did. She did like 7 horrible things in a row. And it was like the week before Halloween. So she lost trick-or-treating. So
I vaguely remember you telling me that. So
yeah. So she stayed home. And so I stayed home with that. I think last year Halloween was on a Monday. So I think I had practice. So yeah, I went to practice for Halloween and then came home and handed out candy with Fiona. This year, so does Rockford have Beggars Night that's separate from Halloween?
No.
Des Moines does. They do Beggars Night, and it's rarely, if ever, on Halloween. And there's apparently this whole story behind it that I've never really understood. But so there's Beggars Night, and everybody goes trick-or-treating. And then on Halloween this year, our church has done a trunk-or-treat the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And Cassie and I participated last year. And we decided we were going to do it again this year, but this year it's not at our church, it's at my high school. So they're doing like a big community one. Instead of having like all these little ones, they're going to do like one community one. So we're going to do that, and we're going to, we decided we wanted to use our steampunk costumes. So she's going to do her car as H.G. Wells's The Time Machine. She's going to decorate it like that. And then I'm going to do Jules Verne's Around the World in 80 Days. So that's what we're doing. Yeah. I think I'm going to enjoy it.
When is that?
Next Tuesday. It's actually on Halloween.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Are you going to put that in your vlog?
I might.
I think you should.
All right. Deal. If I get my costume made and everything. Like last year we did fairy tales. Like that was our theme, was fairy tales.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I was Elsa. And I was Elsa because I already had a costume that was Elsa-ish, and I had stuff that I could do with it. Well,
right, and you have Elsa hair and
right. Like it worked. I have a costume for this year. But I've been trying to decide how I want to do, like you're supposed to do a game or whatever. Although I may just not do a game and just hand out candy.
Right.
Just be like, there's a bucket. It has candy in it. I might decorate the bucket, make it look like a hot air balloon. That's pretty much where I'm at right now. But I don't know.
Just making faces at you.
I see that.
I don't care. Yeah, I'll probably end up just like watching horror movies. I'll watch them with him.
If you like horror movies.
I am Leatherface. I got a cat hair in my nose.
Serves you right.
It was stuck to Leatherface. He's super soft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jacob wants this so bad.
You think he'll steal it?
Yeah, he probably will if he comes over. He hasn't been over in a while though, so. But so yeah, that's probably what I'll do this year. A lot of years that's what I do. I don't like people very much. So like going out sucks. I tried to have a Halloween party one year. Nobody wanted to come over. It seemed like nobody went out. It was really weird. So yeah, I don't really do much. I really like Halloween. I like dressing up. I like being weird. I like all that stuff. So it kind of bothers me that I don't do anything for Halloween. But like this year, I don't have a choice. So.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
It's not so bad when you've got a choice and you're like, yeah, I just don't feel like going out. I don't feel like doing whatever. But when you don't get to because of other
Right, Travis is gonna have to leave in the morning.
Right.
So lame.
Super lame.
So yeah. Let's see what else. There were other questions I had thought of, but of course I didn't write them down. Because I started to and got sidetracked. So I don't know what other Halloween-y things we can talk about. Look at the kitty. She's laying down now.
And cleaning herself.
She's pain in the ass.
Beautiful.
So I really like Halloween though. I like all the spooky stuff. I know you don't really like spooky stuff. But
no, I'm not a fan of being scared. Like that's just me. I was sheltered growing up and it's like the last vestiges of my overactive imagination as a child. I have a hard time separating the silliness of horror, the ridiculousness of it from reality in my head. Like I know as an adult, as a grown-up person, I know it's not real. I know it's not. But I have a hard time telling the rest of my brain that. And so, yeah.
I know a lot of people really don't like horror. I know it really turns some people off. I have a really, really, really hard time with romance. Like a really hard time. I don't know why that is. I just my belief in that is pretty minimal.
I understand that. I don't have, like, my thing is, I don't have a problem with horror. Like, I enjoy horror-ish. I like intense books. Like, I like Stephen King a lot.
Yeah.
I love Salem's Lot, which is straight up horror. Like, that is a vampire story.
True.
That is straight up horror. And that is one of my favorite books. However, like, and I like murder mysteries, and I like intense things. I do like them. The gory horror wigs me out. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I'm sure there's some deep-seated.
There are certain things that really bother me. There's a scene I think it's in Lacey's story, where somebody, I don't remember if it was even in a dream. It might have even been in a dream, but it doesn't matter. It was described, and that's all that matters. Somebody using like a can opener on a breast.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's described like in depth for quite some time. And that really made me super uncomfortable. But like, in college, I went with Angelo to go get his nipples pierced, and it hurt me for like 3 hours. I just like sat and held my boobs. I was just like, no. Like, it looked so awful. And I'm not against piercings. That one looks awful to me. So that particular scene really, really like broke my brain. And I think I thought about it for quite some time afterwards. Obviously, it stuck out in my brain because I don't remember almost anything else about that book.
Right.
So.
Well, and I think that it's the things that, those little things, like there are little things that wig you out about something that's a big thing. A small portion of it wigs you out, and so like you can't handle any of it. For me, that's my thing. That small thing. Like I went to see Raymond Did It. Not my favorite genre, but I did go to see Raymond Did It, and I enjoyed most of the movie. I enjoyed seeing people in it. I enjoyed the storyline was interesting. It's when the ridiculous blood and guts come out that I'm like, oh, I can't watch.
See, I'm talking to you about very certain things.
Yeah.
There was that, and then there's Needles, that scene in Saw, I think it's 2, where he picks her up and throws her in a pit of needles, and she's like trying to get up, and it's just hypodermic needles strewn about, so they're sticking in her. I can't. I don't know why one specific kind of horror appeals to me and others don't. Like, because I don't really like torture porn stuff, like Saw and stuff like that is really hard for me. The first one isn't as bad, but like the Saw movies and what's that other one everybody talks about? Everybody fucking loves it and I hate it. I don't know what it's called. It's the one where there's the kids who are like backpacking or whatever, and they end up in like they get a hooker. No, they get a hooker, and the hooker ends up, I don't know, they end up getting peeled apart. It is like 40 minutes of story that leads up to just watching people get tortured.
Oh, no.
And that's the thing, is like I can't deal with that.
I do enjoy, but this goes back to the Stephen King thing. I enjoyed The Mist.
Yeah.
That movie I did enjoy. Well, I mean,
although it almost killed you.
Yes, it did.
That was probably your first actual panic attack, by the way.
Oh, that was awful. It was. I got to the end of the movie, and my head just.
It's so good, though.
It was, and that's the thing, is that like I enjoy movies that do engage you like that. And here's the other thing, I like movies that are either well done or so ridiculous that there's no way that they can be real in any way. Like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
I like Evil Dead because it's just so bad.
I watched Evil Dead 2 all by myself one night, like in the middle of the night, and I was creeped the fuck out. And it's totally unreasonable, but I was so scared.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's the laughing. That girl laughing, that laugh bucks me up. But I find it interesting how different people respond to horror, because a lot of people really don't like it. And then the people who like it seem to really cling to it. So it seems like a strange diversion. Like there's no real middle ground. If there is, it's right. A real thin smattering. So it's very strange. What's beeping? Can you hear that?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Is it a beep or is it like a ding, like somebody's phone going off?
I think it was something like that, but it stopped. So, whatever. But, sorry, that distracted the F out of me. What were we talking about?
We were talking about how strange it is that there doesn't seem to be a middle ground in terms of the horror genre.
Yeah, and like, that my router making that noise? Hope not. Okay. It stopped again. Yeah, it's strange to me because it seems like it's one or the other, and I don't really understand why that is. I don't know. It's interesting, and it's one of those things that, like, you know, as a horror writer, that's a super interesting question for me.
Because there's not really another genre that splits.
I don't think so. Not so hard.
There are people who are like, I don't really care for fantasy, but they're not like, I hate fantasy.
Yeah.
Like the vast majority. I mean, there are people who are like, I hate fantasy, but
right. But most, like, it's an even array.
Right.
Like across the board.
Okay, or you have people who really like it, or they like it, or yeah. But
right.
horror, yeah, it is one of those genres that's strangely polarizing.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure why that is, but that seems to be the case. And I guess that might make my decisions probably questionable as a writer, huh?
Well, I wonder if it has to do with the almost because horror is so much about pain, mental and or physical.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that is a contributing factor, I guess, in that there are some people who reading about or watching other people in pain or about pain either doesn't bother them or it's almost a caricature of life, and
Mm-hmm.
so they can identify in some way. Whereas people who do not like to address pain are seriously put off by the sight of somebody in pain, whether it's real or not.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know for sure what I think of like any of that. I just find it interesting and a little confusing at the same time because it's just like, why would that be? But I don't know. I don't really think about horror being about pain so much. Maybe that's one of the differences we have, though, because I think about horror about being about winners. Like, really, Halloween is about Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right.
It's not about the murders. It's about Jamie Lee Curtis.
It's about survivors surviving.
Yeah, right. Even when it's like really, really like unlikely. And frequently, the typical horror formula includes a someone doing more than they thought they could do and going beyond what they thought they could do to be able to overcome it.
The limits of human endurance kind of thing.
Yeah, and just wanting something enough to be able to overcome something that might be more difficult than you would think. And also, I think it's really funny to watch things like a dude beat someone to death inside of a sleeping bag against a tree. Like, that's amazing. Yeah, so That's also awesome. And I don't have to kill anyone to see it, so that's pretty cool.
That's definitely a plus.
Yeah, because otherwise I'd be super busy.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So.
No more free afternoons for you.
Yep. I gotta go see how this murder would happen. I mean, if someone were to do it. If.
She is still loony as shit.
Uh-huh. I don't know what's going on with her. I opened the window a little while ago, so maybe that's part of it. The heat was on. I didn't do that.
Cassie and I keep talking about when are we going to turn the heat on. And I told her that as long as it's warmer outside than it is in our apartment, we'll just open the windows.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we don't pay for it because it's radiator, but it's a lot harder to cool somewhere down. And like, it's like between 30 and 50 at night, but it was 81 today.
Yeah. There's no reason for that nonsense.
Yeah, so I don't care. Put on a sweater.
Mm-hmm. I told Cassie that the other night. She's like, I'm cold. I'm like, I'll put on a sweater. She was it was Sunday. So she was laying on the couch on Sunday, and she wore a tank top dress to church and hooker boots. She says they're not hooker boots, but they're hooker boots. And the dress, she keeps telling me, she's like, it goes down further than the tips of my fingers. Like, so it's long enough that when she puts her hands at her sides, it's longer than the tips of her fingers, but it's definitely above the knee. And so when you've got a nice breeze, like even when it's warm right now, there's a brisk breeze. And so she was telling me she got out of the car because she parks in the garage. So she didn't go outside until she got to church. So she gets in the parking lot and opens the door, steps out, and the breeze went whoop right up her dress. And she was like, woo! But she was laying on the couch when we got home, and she's like all wrapped up. We have 2 Afghans on the couch, and she was all wrapped up in both Afghans. She had one around her legs and the other one around her top. And she's like, it's cold. We should turn on the heater. I'm like, no, you go put some pants on and put a long sleeve shirt on, and then we'll talk about heater. And she was like, oh, you're so mean. Like, you are wearing a mini dress.
Yeah.
In October.
Yeah, I mean, now it's repeating. What did you do?
What?
My voice was repeating. But it stopped again. That was weird. Talk.
How about now?
Okay, I can hear you. I'm not hearing me again. Okay. I don't know what the hell just happened. It was weird.
So weird.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's not requirement that it's warm enough for you to wear a knee-length dress with no sleeves.
No. That's nonsense.
Yeah. It shouldn't be that hot. That's bullshit.
That's right. October is the beginning of fall. It should be fall weather. It should be beautiful.
The trees know it's fall.
Yeah. The maple outside my parents' house is almost completely
naked.
Almost completely naked already. Like, they have bright orange leaves all over their driveway, in the gutters. Like, they're just leaves everywhere. It's amazing.
Do they rake?
My dad does sometimes. My dad has a leaf blower, So he'll blow out the gutters, the street. He'll blow those out and bag those. I think he rakes the leaves in their yard. They get a lot of leaves because there's a lot of deciduous trees. Not necessarily like they have an oak tree, so that clearly sheds a lot of trees. But then their next door neighbors to the north, no, to the east. Their neighbors to the east have 2 huge ash trees in their yard. So they get the ash leaves. And then they also have...
I thought you said ass trees, and I had a whole image in my head, and now I'm disappointed.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
I'm so sad.
I'll take a picture of it and you can Photoshop.
I probably can't. Have you met me?
That's true. I'll see if I can Photoshop.
Have you seen my thumbnails?
Your thumbnails are fun.
I make them in Paint, dude. Paint. Which they're no longer updating anymore. RIP Paint.
No shit. I was sad. Super sad. Bill Gates, you done us wrong.
I don't think he's in charge of anything anymore.
Probably not.
You're not in charge of anything anymore.
Me?
Yep.
I've never been in charge of anything.
I got a cat sitting behind me. It's a him. And there's something. It's driving me nuts. My house is noisy and it's weirding me out. Weird me out. It might just be normal noises that I'm just now recognizing because the AC is off.
Yeah.
As I've mentioned, I don't do being hot, so it hasn't been off much.
Cassie keeps trying to turn, she kept trying to turn hers off over the, because we moved in September.
Right.
It's still hot in September.
Mm-hmm.
More than 75 outside, the building's going to be warm. So guess what? I'm going to turn the AC on when I'm home. And I'm home all day.
Word.
So my mother called me a Nazi 3 times today. The first time, because I wouldn't let her buckle herself into my car. Now, keep in mind, her right shoulder is the one that's, and so her arm is like Velcro.
Right, so she's trying to like reach across with the arm she shouldn't be.
Yeah. So she's all like trying to get stuff. She yelled at me because I told her not to do that. She called me a Nazi because I told her not to do that. She called me a Nazi because I yelled at her because she was trying to pick up laundry baskets. Yeah. And then she called me a Nazi. When was the third time? Oh, I went to the bathroom for 2 seconds. And while I was in the bathroom, I hear her go, "Oh." And I'm like, "Whatever you're doing, stop it." And she yells back, "You're such a Nazi, just like your father." And I'm like, do you really want to be this helpless for like 6 months rather than 6 weeks? She's like, "Well, that's not the point. I hate being helpless." I'm like, you're going to have to learn to deal. You cannot do these things. Like she wants to. Problem.
I don't remember what I was in the sling for at the nursing home, but I was in the sling and they kept yelling at me because I'd just be like moving around my arm with the sling on. And they're like, "You need to stop doing that." And I'm like, "But I have shit to do."
Was that when you fell down the stairs?
It might have been. That would explain it because it was my right arm. Still hurts.
Surprise!
All the time. It was a dumb idea I had there.
Were you in stocking feet?
Yep. Down my parents' stairs. I went down 3 and landed on like the second from the bottom one. So that makes it like 8 stairs. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep.
You know better than walking downstairs in your stocking feet in your parents' house.
I ran down the stairs too. I was running down, like when I fell, I had like a handled purse that's open on top, and I fell, and my mom like came over, and I had just like I was trying to like get my bearings, and I look over, and my purse is literally upside down on the floor, like straight upside down. So I mean, it was an ordeal. I went down.
When I fell down your parents' stairs, I just scratched my ass.
Yeah, you didn't fall down, like you didn't fly down the stairs. Like I got air.
No, that's true.
Like, and I think it would have been better if I would have fallen. I probably would have bruised the shit out of myself, but I wouldn't have landed all of my weight on myself. So like that's where my sciatica is. That's the hip that hurts. That's the shoulder that hurts. And they tell me there's nothing wrong, but you can feel like lumps in my shoulder. The massage lady told me it was probably scar tissue, which is great, except that they tell me there's nothing wrong with it. It hurts all the time and there's lumps in it. What is wrong?
Snake oil witch doctors.
I'm supposed to see a new doctor soon. Let's see here. When is that? Oh, that's Tuesday. That's got to be mine. Yeah. Travis scheduled an appointment on the same day with the same doctor, so it looks the same. I have to open them all the way up to see what time mine is. But yeah, so I see a new doctor Tuesday. So I'll need to maybe see if she wants to discuss what the hell I've done, because I think there's something. I don't know what, and I don't know what you would do about it. Now they're both assholes.
They're so excited about everything.
They're just assholes. Don't let them fool you. Did I tell you I used your grinder to grind up a bunch of catnip?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Did it work well?
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. So last week we were going to talk about the NaNoWriMo boxes.
Oh.
And then I got expelled for no reason for 4 days or whatever it was. So, which they still have not told me that I'm reinstated or that it was a mistake or anything. I just have my video back up and my privileges back silently. And everybody's like, yeah, YouTube doesn't communicate with people. Why is that okay? So I've thought about switching over to Twitch. I already have a Twitch channel, and I could technically stream on Twitch. I don't know exactly how I would do it because I haven't actually tried. I've done it with video games. I haven't streamed for a long period of time with a video game on Twitch, but I've tested it. I know how to do it. But the part of the reason I don't do that is because then I don't have like the YouTube people who are in AuthorTube. So it's kind of a shit show. But I don't appreciate the way they act about shit. Like, why can't you just tell me that my video is reinstated? Yeah, and they don't even have to fucking apologize. All they have to send is your video was deleted was removed in error. It has been reinstated. All privileges are reinstated. Shoot me an email.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. They shot me an email to tell me they took my shit down because I'm inappropriate or whatever the hell they were talking about. But yeah, they can't to tell me whatever. Anyway, so I talked a little bit about this on one of my vlogs, but And we talked about this when it was still being made, but this is my NaNoWriMo notebook. So we've seen that. It's a nice plastic cover, so if I spill coffee on it, I can wipe it off. And I've got some lists of things. I've got words that describe voices, and I'm just going to kind of run through them and tell you what they are. Some basic traits you might want to know about your characters. It's just a page of it, so I can pick the ones I want and write them down. Some descriptions that show how people are feeling, so that you don't, have someone raise an eyebrow 65 times. Just a list of interesting words that I like. That's 2 pages long. I have 57 senses or things your character may be aware of to use in your writing. Things like sound, pitch, touch, personal emotion, endocrine states, awareness of awareness, organic sensation, including hunger, all kinds of different things. There's 57 different things there, so that's pretty cool. I have a limits of the human body chart. So that's pretty big, so I cut it up into 2 pages. Other words for anger. Emotion words with intensities. So there's the strong one, and then there's mild and weak. Just some character traits, character archetypes, just like a big ass list. This is the tiniest thing ever. I'm going to need a magnifying glass to look at it. But then I've got this nice little infographic that's fun. And then my top 6 writing tips. How to write good. Avoid alliteration always. That kind of jazz. 33 unusual tips to being a better writer. Tips about tension. Writing rules you never heard of. And then I drew on the inside. Look at how pretty. That's all my skills. There you go. That's all of them. So, and then I have a section for journaling so that I can kind of write about how things are going and thoughts I'm having, things I need to carry over the next day, whatever. A section for characters, locations, items, and then I have a space for a couple blank sections. And then at the end, I put in a bunch of writing quotes and things that are inspirational that I find inspirational and fun to read. And then there's a list of cliches. So that's how I finished my Nano book. So hopefully that will come in handy. I see you over there, Munchenstein.
I haven't had dinner. I'm hungry.
I haven't had dinner either. I got some Doritos over here.
Ooh. Don't look at me like that.
Who, the cat?
She's over there washing her butt.
Mine's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Being a statue. Statue cat.
You can't see me.
She's a statue cat.
I did get a box. It's not nearly as pretty as yours. But
I have one like that, actually.
I've got a crap-tastic pile over here of stuff that I kept from cleaning out the box. From you see that?
Yeah, which one of you is that?
That's me. That's
That's
my first
you?
grade.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Stuff like that to oh, I'm trying to decide if I want to keep these or not. So these are all, sorry. So I was, when I took piano lessons, I and I don't know how long it is. They've got 90, 91, 94. I don't even know how long this went on, but I participated in the Indianola Music Festival. And so I have all of my certificates from that.
Fancy.
Mm-hmm. This one says I got a 1 rating. Oh, this one says I got a 1+. 1+ is the highest you can get. So that's pretty exciting. So I have to decide if I want to keep this. I was thinking about putting them in my studio downstairs. I'm not sure for what reason. They may end up in the piano bench to start with and see if it's even worth hanging them up. I don't even know if I have room for them down there, but we'll see. So, to my box. So I cleaned it out, and right now all that's in it is some books. I have, obviously, the Annotated Sense and Sensibility, which I'm still working through. I have the Writer's Idea book, which I don't even know if this will be helpful. It's mostly prompts, but it could help me think through things. I have the Writer's Workshop in a box. I have Strunk and White. And I have Stephen King's On Writing, which doesn't have a cover. I think this is actually your old copy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. What does it say in the front? Is something written in the front of it?
There's a it says Dave's Rag.
I think that's, show me. Oh yeah, that's actually in the book.
Yeah. So I got that, and then I have my notebook, which is not nearly as well organized as yours. It's just I write stuff and it goes in here.
Yeah, but you write stuff before you start writing too.
That is true. That is true.
So, like, you already know what the name of the diner is going to be. I don't know there's a diner.
Right. That's true.
So.
On the other hand, I have I still got some other stuff. I've got some notes and stuff on my computer that I think I'm going to print out and put in a binder in there. So I'll have them right on hand. It's not like they're not accessible in my computer. It's just, it's nice to have it on hand if I need it.
Yeah.
So, but that's pretty much all that's in there right now because I haven't done anything else except pick books that I want to put in there. I
put Post-its in mine. I added that.
You know, I was thinking I would do that. I was also thinking I would probably add
flags.
What?
Flags. With Post-it flags.
Flags and Post-its. Probably some. I was trying to decide if I needed to get more pens. But so I have this, which is all of my black pens. And then I have this, which is all markers, which is technically Cassie's, but it's on my desk, so you know, possession is 9/10 of the law. And then I have this, which is all of my colored pens. So I probably don't need more pens, in theory.
I'm not going to tell you not to get more pens. I don't know who you think.
I know you're not. Which is why you are my best friend.
It's not doing nothing. It's like she doesn't even know I'm here.
No.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Oh, should we go? She might be chasing Mr. Kelly, yeah. Things are going to get interesting over here. The cats are dicks. I don't know what he's up to either. Just being weird, because he's weird. He probably wants to be sitting where she's sitting because they fight over that spot.
Well, yeah, because that's a computer and it's warm.
Mm-hmm. She's probably deciding whether or not he's going to try to fight her. And sometimes she's not interested in taking his shit.
I think Tag talks to the cat upstairs through the connecting door.
Yeah?
Yeah. Sometimes they use Morse code. Sometimes they actually talk.
Yeah.
I prefer it when they talk because it's not as loud.
Oh, because they smack the door, you mean?
But yeah, oh, when they do that, oh, it just annoys the crap out of me because she'll do it for a while. And then he'll do it. Or, I don't know, maybe the cat upstairs is a girl. I don't know. I should ask her mom. But yeah, it just.
Yeah, that's what happens if we try to close our bedroom door.
That sounds about right.
So it's just whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Cats are dicks.
Mm-hmm. So are you excited about Nano coming up?
Yes, I really am
excited. Really excited. Have you been back on the website yet?
What?
Have you been back on the website yet this year?
Yep. I think I've got everything loaded in there. I don't have a title yet, but that's not new.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
No.
You know, whatever. So, yeah, I got a bunch of people on my buddy list.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I just came in here to look, and it looks like I got new friends over at the Nano. Isn't that lovely? I have trouble with the Nano website, so if anyone ever thinks I'm ignoring them over there, it's because I don't know how to work the freaking website. I feel like it's 100% counterintuitive. And like it does cool things, it's just hard to get around on. I think it would be more useful if it wasn't like that. My other problem with Nano is that my areas, whatever they're called, municipal liaisons is what they call them.
Yeah,
they tend to do stuff out in, for lack of a better word, suburbs of Rockford. And then that requires me to drive quite a ways. And I already have kind of a annoying setup to take with me places. So I'm not terribly inclined to go to this stuff. And then I feel like is constantly doing stuff. And I don't feel like that's true of the local one here at all. Like I feel like you guys have write-ins all the time, and we usually have like 2 or 3 a month from what I can tell. And then I went and I felt really uncomfortable the whole time. So I don't know. And maybe that's me. It might be me. It might just be that I'm awkward and weird and don't fit in with people. I mean, that might be it.
It's a bunch of writers who are also awkward and weird.
You better stop. Now they're making noises. It's him, of course. Hey, knock it off.
He's hungry.
He's not, though. There's food out. He already had a can, so he's not. He's just a dick.
Fair enough.
That's all. That's all there is. So, but yeah, that's my biggest problem with Nano. I think if I was in a different community, maybe I'd feel different about it. but that also kind of relates to my previous thing about horror, is that sometimes I feel like people get real hoity-toity when I say I write horror, and they start to act like that's beneath them.
You're not a real writer because you write trash.
Right. Like it's a very difficult thing to have someone kind of imply. And I don't know that people do it on purpose, but people do it a lot. So, and like, I don't have to know from every single person I speak to that they don't like horror. You know, I mean, like, there are people it would come up with. There are conversations where it makes sense. But the moment I tell someone that I write horror, they're like, oh, I don't like that. And it's like, that's not real necessary. Like, you could just be like, oh, that's nice. Like, I don't know.
Maybe
I just
polite about it.
Right. I just feel like everyone feels really comfortable just being very negative about horror. And I don't really know why that is. But
because people are dicks.
Well, I mean, yes, people are dicks, but I don't think that's the whole problem. But the cat's crying still. Son of a bitch. But
from time to time, I do get the same result because normally I write fantasy.
Yeah.
And I get people who, oh, well, I wouldn't know because I don't really like fantasy because they have all the weird names and I don't know how anything works. And I mean,
right. And like, it's different for you and I to have that conversation because we're talking about more in-depth stuff. Like,
well, yeah, it usually comes within the context of
right. And there's also
think about
there's also more than just that statement. Usually you're continuing the conversation beyond that, frequently telling where you've gone outside of that rule, you know, and that's different. Like, oh, I usually don't like fantasy very much, but I really like Labyrinth. You know, like, now you've acknowledged that there's some way you might possibly not be being a dick to me.
Right. Or like, I'm not a horror fan, but I love Salem's Lot and
Right.
the Dark Tower series. And finding common ground is, I think, vital in that.
Yeah.
When you're so different, when you meet somebody who is so different from you, has such different likes and dislikes, finding common ground is essential in order to be, I don't know, a human.
My cat might walk across the floor on his ass behind me because he's acting like a nutter behind me. Don't do it. Don't do it. He's looking at me like he thinks he's gonna. But I think it goes back to the same problem with horror, though, in that people just kind of think that because they've discredited it as useless, that they can just kind of treat you like garbage. So I'd
like to go back to my previous statement of people are dicks.
I know. I don't think that's true of a lot of other areas. And like, if somebody tells me they write literary fiction, I assume they think I'm garbage. I get you. I know where you're coming from. Whatever.
Who writes literary fiction?
People who use the term literary fiction.
Do you see me shaking my head?
Right, and that's the thing is, like, if that's what you write in, then you are elitist. And that's fine, that's your thing, whatever, but at least I know where I stand. But yeah, so I am over on NaNoWriMo.org as Rockford Writer, or OCKFORDWRITER. So yeah. Yeah. How about you, CJ? What is your name over here?
CJ_Narnia 1979.
You should add us both if you're watching this, because we're both going to be Nano, and we're both going to be super sad when we're behind.
That is true.
Which is relatively inevitable.
Like within the first week and a half.
Yeah, possibly. I frequently am behind to start with, but this year, because Travis is going to be out of town, I might actually get a head start.
Do you want to do like a we could do a live stream that night. I mean, it'd be like midnight.
I seem to recall you not making it up to midnight last time. Is that something that's going to be a problem for you?
Probably.
I mean, I don't have a problem doing it. I can do whatever. I roll with the punches.
Mm-hmm. Staying up until midnight, I don't think would be a problem. Staying up past midnight may be a problem.
What if you got a nap in?
I could do that if I did it early enough in the day. Because I have... Oh, shit.
What?
So the trunk or treat starts at 5.
Uh-huh. Oh, and you have piano lessons.
I have piano lessons from 4 to 5.
Yeah.
I wonder how early they'll... So I won't get there until like 5:30. So we'll have to talk about that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't be such a bad thing if I take a nap that day. And then I could take a nap on Wednesday too. Like, not working during the day is awesome like that.
Yeah, because it's yeah, we're not having game because Travis is leaving in the morning.
Right.
So I could definitely come home and take a nap. And
naps for everyone.
Be up for the midnight time. Yeah, I don't see why not.
All right.
So we're gonna plan on streaming at midnight Central Time on November 1st, technically.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be highly enjoyable, and we will write things, and things will be learned, and things will be written, and then there will be words, and then we'll say hooray.
Or it could be horrible, and you will hear lots of swearing.
Hooray! I insist it will be hooray.
All right.
All right. We'll go with that. If anyone else watching this is interested in joining us at midnight Central Time on the first day of Nano, let us know. You can shoot me a message on Twitter or Tumblr or Facebook or Instagram or wherever, Snapchat. Shoot me a message and I will see it, and then I will talk to you. And we can figure it out. So yeah, so that's a good plan. We can do that. It'll be awesome sauce.
I like it.
Yeah, and since we both write so different, it'll be real interesting, I think.
I agree.
I think it'll be fun. So everybody mark your calendars. We're finna to do that. But it is 8:15, so I feel like we could wrap it up at this point. We've talked a little bit about writing, talked a little bit about Halloween, talked about horror as a genre and how that works. If you have any input on that, please leave a comment below. We'd like to keep the conversation going. The cat just scratched me. It hurt. So we will see you all next Friday. I still have a vlog for tonight. I don't know if CJ has one coming out today or not, but I certainly do. So I will see you guys all then, and I will have another vlog tomorrow because it's still Vlogtober, so don't forget yourself. So see you guys later. Bye.